Ahoy rum explorers, I'm Nia, I'm a rum enthusiast, and today we're exploring BEACHBUM Berry's Navy Grog Rum blend. And today we're going to discuss who Ed Hamilton is that BEACHBUM Berry worked with in order to come out with this bottle, who BEACHBUM Berry is also, and how I got this bottle. So grab a drink and come plunder some rum with me. Got your drink? It's officially rum time. So today, again, we're exploring BEACHBUM Berry's Navy Grog blended rum. Very interesting bottle. Once again, very excited to try this. So who is Ed Hamilton? If you're not familiar with this kind of logo and styling of bottle, well, you're in for a lot of history. Ed Hamilton has a background in chemical engineering to start with. He's the owner of the Ministry of Rum, owner of Caribbean Spirits. He's an author, an importer, and most well known as the godfather of rum agricole here in the US. What does that mean? If you're not familiar with Ministry of Rum, it's a website where Ed Hamilton basically brought exposure to rum because he actually started importing in 2005 while he was sailing throughout the Caribbean. Yes, he was a sailor as well. So he basically was bringing all these different rums from the Caribbean, but the most well known he's most well known for bringing rum agricole to America because it was not known at all here in the US. So that's why some people call him the godfather of rum agricole. Now, he has been making his own rums since 2005 with this very specific type of labeling. If you're not familiar of the way his bottles also look like, you'll see there's a lot of consistency in the labeling. There's his signature on top in gold foil. There's a lot of components that literally right quick glance you can tell. Also his huge last name here on the top. I'll put a little bit of imagery here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So if you're not familiar with BEACHBUM Berry, aka BEACHBUM Berry, is an author, a restaurateur, and a historian of tiki culture in America. So he's very well known for basically being one of the main people in charge of the tiki revival. Did a lot of research as far as the cocktails and went to different tiki bars and actually got the recipes from different bartenders and put them all in the book, which is really interesting. I'll put some images of his books here. He's incredible as far as exposure for these kinds of tiki cocktails. Now, they decided to collab on this specific bottle because if you're not familiar, Navy Grogs are a little bit complicated. They're typically rich Jamaican rums, a dry Puerto Rican rum, and the smoky Demerara rum. So they're simplifying things for us who don't want to find different rums and made this incredible blend in order for us to make Navy Grogs, which are typically 3 parts spirits, 1 part water, which comes from the old history of sailors in Europe where they were given their rations twice a day. So to simplify in modern times, they came out with this blend. The only difference with this specific blend is that there is a difference in the Spanish rum. Instead of being Puerto Rican, it's actually a rum from Dominican Republic. And just as a reminder, Demerara rum is from Guyana, and it's from a specific area called Demerara. I don't know why in the world everybody just calls it Demerara rum instead of Guyana, but I guess you could be making rum in different areas of Guyana. So if you hear Demerara, always assume that it is from Guyana because it's a specific location in Guyana that they make these rums. So let's move forward with the review. So I'm going to start in the Glencairn and how I got this bottle. So let's wait for the pop. Ooh, that's a good one. Plastic cork. So I do have to confess that this bottle was gifted to me by Phil in one of his spontaneous rum runs, or sometimes more like bourbon runs and hunts, and he ends up finding some rums and he spoils me and brings me some bottles. So this was actually one of the bottles that he brought me. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm one of the few people on YouTube who's actually done a review of this rum. So very excited to bring this to you, my crew members. So let's start with the Glencairn. Cheers. Oh yeah, definitely can tell a little bit of the Jamaican funk a little bit, but most prominently the nose is Demerara rum for sure. And the more it dissipates, it's changing a little. A little bit of micro beading on the top of the legs. Wow, this smells amazing. There's like a little bit of like a fruitiness to it. I'm assuming that's from the Jamaican, like mature pineapples, bananas, that kind of thing. The nose is amazing. I smell some smokiness in there, some cask. Ooh, let me go ahead and try this. My mouth is like watering. Cheers. Oh man, that is delicious. I do have to say, was a little bit hot. It is 57% alcohol by volume. And typically to get the proof, you can times that times 2, and that's 114. Crazy part is you do get a lot of heat coming down your throat, but once it hits your chest, chesticles are happy, because in spite of it being 114 proof, it's not that hot, but it is excellent. Man, I know I keep looking back at that chest because I'm like, ooh, this might be treasure chest approved, so hang on in there to see what we decide. But let's see if it changed the nose a little. Let's go back to the Glencairn. Again, I'm just swishing it. I know you see a lot of people going like this, and the problem is that breaks the compounds too fast, and if you do it slow, it kind of lets things slowly air out. So if you don't see me swishing it fast, that's why. We learned that when we went to Mount Gay. Yes, definitely smells like Jamaican rum. I can smell the Demerara. Kind of reminds me of... Anyway, delicious. Familiar with how to make a Navy Grog? I'll put the recipe down below. Let me know if you were able to make it. Very interesting recipe and quite simple. But with this bottle, it would avoid you buying multiple bottles. As you can see, it's like a blend of multiple rums. I know the ice chips are very particular. It's the little ice chips that you find usually in tiki drinks. The other cool thing is we actually had the Navy Grog when we went to New Orleans. I'll insert some pictures here of our cocktails when we went to Latitude 29. By the way, if you are ever in New Orleans, do not miss out Beach Bum Berry's Latitude 29. I had the best pearl diver of my life. If you're not familiar with that tiki cocktail, they basically make it with butter and rum, so it's like a creamy rum drink. It is phenomenal there. There is my favorite, and then my second favorite is at Suffering Bastard. They have a very unique twist to the pearl diver, but it's excellent too. Everywhere else they were kind of watered down, not impressed, but my favorite, Latitude 29. So I hope I can make it back one day so I can retry that. Let's move forward with this, with the neat glass. See here, it's more, I get more of that Jamaican fun, not so much the smokiness or the sweetness of the Demerara or any of the Dominican rum. Yeah, it smells more muted. Okay, so as far as the nose, again, a little bit on the muted. Let's try it. Cheers. Definitely more of that Jamaican grassiness, bananas, like ripe bananas, a little bit of citrus finish, like grapefruit. The burn is a lot less than here. I don't know why, but definitely quite different here. I enjoy it a lot more. Now, I am sipping this neat. I don't think this is a neat sipping kind of rum. This is literally to make tiki cocktails, and specifically the Navy Grog. So I'm just enjoying it in order to see if I can decipher the different rums in it as well. So let's see. I'm gonna take another sip. Again, there is a little bit of a burn, a linger, which is delicious. It's quite good. I'm just like baffled that this is 114 proof and it is so smooth. I know Ed Hamilton is like a genius. types of Caribbean rums, and this is like a beautiful blend and a true, basically like a showcase of his capacity to blend rums too, which is crazy. I would have never thought 114 proof would be this smooth, and I'm so excited to try to make a Navy Grog this weekend. As far as the journal rum type, this is gonna be I'm gonna put it as an aged rum because I'm assuming these are quite aged rums. And then as far as the Gargano rum type classification, I'm gonna say this is a single blended rum because I know for a fact some of these rums are pot still, like the Jamaican, and then Dominican might be column and some might be hybrid. So I'm gonna put this as a single blended rum. Now as far as sweet to dry, it's gonna vary by glass. So I feel like on this one there's a lot more on the sweeter side, and I'm gonna take another sip because I want to make sure, because this one mutes down a lot of stuff. So let me go ahead and take another sip. It has some pretty lanky legs, but not too crazy. And then I know it asks if there is any additives. I know for a fact it's not a Solera, because if you know Ed Hamilton, I've been listening to interviews of him the whole day. In his mind, Solera systems don't even exist when it comes to rum, so that was an interesting fun fact that I learned about him. But basically, I'm gonna read the labeling because I think it's important. Back in the 1990s, Beach Bum Berry was in LA, unearthing lost tiki, while Ed Hamilton was sailing the Caribbean, unlocking the secrets of cane spirits. 20 years later, they met over a bottle of rum and pledged to bring you the best of what they've learned. Mixing different rums in one drink was a trade secret of the old tiki masters. Here, Ed and Bum have blended Jamaican, Guyanese, Trinidad, and Dominican rum so you can easily shake up the perfect grog. So the recipe is quite simple. This is bottle G5141. It's a liter. I don't know how much it costs, but I'll try to insert the price here. So that's interesting. Then as far as sweet to dry, I think I'm gonna give it a 4, just because I feel like it would be sweeter, but that Jamaican rum in there kind of cuts that sweetness. Bland to flavorful, I would say that this is quite flavorful, especially on this one. There's a lot of complexity and you can tell the difference in rums, but they blend beautifully and masterfully at the end. So I'm definitely gonna give it a D, which is kind of in the middle. As far as from harsh to smooth, definitely smooth. It did start on a medium level. I left it like 5 minutes and then came back and it was at a low. And then as far as the whiskey exchange flavor camps, I am gonna give this I'm gonna say that this is a tropical and fruity, because it's kind of like a nice mix. It's a very well blended rum. And now for the moment of truth. Is this treasure chest approved? Yes! This is so incredible. In one bottle you get 4 different rums. I forgot about the Trinidad rum. Luckily I was able to read the label. But I think this is such a diverse rum. I could definitely see myself sipping this neat because it's quite enjoyable, but then it's a kick-ass rum to make some cocktails. So let's go see what I take out of the treasure chest. Well, now it's official. It's in the treasure chest. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please do so I can welcome you on board as a crew member. And I look forward to the next rum. Cheers. Hey, are you a big fan of Ed Hamilton? Then check out this rum right here in collaboration with the Florida Rum Society. Enjoy.